Hello, Matthew Williams here with a quick video to talk about Claire Perry. I mean, Miss Perry. Because some of my friends have said, oh, you know, you want to be careful using your first name because it makes you sound like you're on, you know, familiar terms. You know, do you know I actually have to be careful because Claire Perry has taken offence to the fact that I write to her as my MP. She sent me a letter, which I don't have round here, but or do I? Actually, I think I do. Yeah, alright. Here you go. So it says, Mr. Williams, blah, 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 blah. Right, there it is if you want to read it. I'll focus it in. It says, Mr. Williams, blah, 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 blah. At the bottom, I was asking questions about hunting, and basically I said, you know, have you ever hunted? Would you hunt? And she said, no, but I am actually pro-hunting, because David Cameron is. Anyway, so that was what I was writing to her for, and about fracking, and asking her whether or not she would have fracking underneath her home. And she wouldn't commit to saying that yes, she would. So basically, what she's saying is she wants everyone else to have fracking, but she isn't going to commit to saying that she's going to have it under her home. Whatever. But right at the end of the letter, then we have this little thing, and it says, finally, given the frequency and personal nature of much of your communications to me, I have, as is the norm in these situations, sent a copy of this letter, your emails and Facebook comments to Wiltshire Police, and I understand they're currently reviewing the material. Well, at risk, my friends probably are going to tell me I'm really silly for doing this, at risk of perhaps, you know, inflaming the situation, I'm going to do this. Claire Perry, fuck you. Fuck you. Who the fuck do you think you are? Fucking hell. I suppose she'd say that about me too. Who the fuck do you think you are? Writing to me. I mean, the thing is, I've written to her probably about 5 times in the last 5 years. That's one letter a year. And what was amazing to me is that at the Tidworth Hustings are these political meetings, by the way, where, you know, you get to meet your MP, ask them questions, you know, they sit on the stage and the audience asks them questions and they respond, all the MPs respond. Anyway, so I've been to these hustings, and basically I was at the one at Tidworth, which is the first hustings for this area, so it was the very first one, and I asked Claire Perry a question. I said, out of 800 votes, you only voted twice against your party, so... And I got that far, you know, basically, and she cut me off and she said, oh, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to tell you that this is an obsessive person who's been harassing me, you know, on the internet and in emails, and is even posting pictures of my children on Twitter. She actually accused me in front of about 800 squaddies at this military hustings. She accused me of posting pictures of her children on Twitter. Well, Claire, you fucking... No, I'm not going to... No, I'll have to be careful. I won't use any descriptives. I'll just say, Claire, you fucking... Okay, you fucking something. Fill in the blank, yeah? I don't even use Twitter. Ta-da! I entice you, Claire... Considering you said this to an audience full of people, I entice you to show me one Twitter comment from me. You won't be able to do it, yeah? I bet you money on it, because I don't use Twitter. I use Facebook, yeah? Now, she accused me of this and then said that she was basically now being, you know, followed around the place, and she was going to report this to the police as well. Well, it's weird, isn't it? Because, I mean, you know, I haven't really inflamed the situation at all by discussing this. This is the first time I've talked about it, and I've been waiting to see if the police would come, you know. But I think there's a slight problem here, and it's called credibility, yeah? Because Claire doesn't have any. Because you can't go to the police because somebody's writing to you and criticising you as their MP. Surely. I mean, what do you reckon, Claire? Yeah? Do you do this to all the people in your constituency that write to you complaining about your policies? Do you report them to the police? Is that what you do, Claire? Is that what you do? Because I don't think that makes you a very good MP. Yeah, I think that makes you a pretty shit MP, in fact. And for all the camera and media whoring that you've been doing for the last few years, you know, basically only coming out to have photographs of at public events where it's going to look good for you, when it actually comes down to meeting your constituents like me, yeah, I tried to meet you with 2 other constituents to hand in a petition from 38 Degrees relating to fracking, and I wanted to meet you at one of your surgeries to hand it in for 15 minutes, and she agreed to it, and right at the last minute she cancelled it. Okay, and then she said that we could meet her, we could speak to her on the phone. So we weren't able to hand in this petition, which was hundreds of thousands of signatures, yeah, and we weren't able to hand it in. I've since found out that one of the guys who's the anti-fracking, anti-TTIP guy for Pusey told me that he couldn't get to hand in his petition, yeah, for TTIP. She wouldn't meet with him, right? And guess what? I found out that I think her name is Vicky something on Facebook. Vicky, can't remember. Anyway, she's on Facebook. I might put it up below her name. But she said to me, I tried to meet Claire Perry 4 times over 4 months, and every single time she cancelled my appointment. 4 times, 4 months, right? She cancelled my appointment, and in the end she did it over the phone. Now, excuse my anger here, right? This is not anger at Ms. Claire Perry. This is anger at Claire Perry MP, because she's supposed to be being paid to do a job, and as far as I'm concerned, most of the superficial, circumstantial evidence I'm seeing at the moment and hearing from people, because I've been going to all these hustings, and what I'm hearing is a commonly occurring theme, that Claire Perry doesn't want to meet her constituents. She does not meet her constituents. The only thing that gets Claire Perry out of her house and into her car is cameras for publicity photos. That's all she does. She's a self-publicist. She does not do real work. All the letters I've been sent are copy-paste jobs. Copy-paste, copy-paste, yeah? And I didn't even get this reply, right? I didn't even get this reply to 2 questions I asked her, yeah? I mean, you know, like I say, I don't send the woman a hell of a lot of mail, yeah? But I asked her 2 questions, and they were quite simple ones, right? And I put them in a section, and I said, these are the questions I want answered, and I made them bold, and I made them very obvious. And it just said, 1, would you have fracking underneath your house? 2, have you hunted, or would you ever hunt? Yeah? Okay? 2 questions, and she wouldn't answer them. So I wrote to her again and reminded her that she hadn't replied, heard nothing. Yeah? A month went by, yeah, heard nothing about it. So in the end, I put in a complaint to the Conservative Party offices and to her, and then I got a phone call from her secretary who reiterated what was in that letter and said, "Oh, so you know, so what do you want to know?" And I said, "Well, what do I want to know? Do you have a copy of my letter that I'm complaining about?" "Oh yes, we've got a copy of it." I said, "Well, why do you need me to tell you what you should know then, because it's in the letter?" Oh, can you just tell it to us again? And I said, well, look, you don't have the letter. You're pretending you know the letter. The letter went in the bin, didn't it, really? But, okay, for the benefit of, helping you out, and I wasn't angry like this, I was very polite. But I said, okay, for the benefit of you, I shall send you the letter again, and I will highlight in yellow pen, in yellow, highlighter marker, yeah, I will highlight the question, right, even though there's only 2 simple questions, yeah, taking up 2 sentence lines. And then I got the response, but she waited a maximum of 28 days to get me the response. So she's a staller, she's a political staller, which I'm sure some of you will understand what that means. But basically, I don't think Claire Perry is doing a very good job. She is definitely trying to avoid meeting her constituents, especially when they have got things like petitions, you know, where it might be contrary to her opinion, so therefore she doesn't want to meet you because you're not agreeing with her, so she doesn't want to meet you and discuss it with you. Yeah. So these surgeries, I would like to know if anyone's actually been to a surgery where they've met Claire Perry. Right? I would like to, if you have, fair enough, tell me in the comments below. I'd like to speak to some people who've actually met Claire Perry. And the thing is, I'd like to ask you, were you pro Claire Perry, or were you perhaps, you know, asking her awkward questions? Right? And if you've had anything cancelled with Claire Perry, I would like to know about it as well. But I think she's not fit for purpose. Check this out, right? This is the bit I forgot to tell you, right? About this business with cancellations, yeah? She cancelled the Pewsey Hustings. She wouldn't go. And it's an environmental Hustings. So she just didn't turn up. So loads of people in the audience were angry about this and said, where is she? You know, she's paid as an MP, yeah? And in 5 years, all she has to do is turn up to 4 or 5 Hustings, yeah, just before the elections to show the people who she is, to explain to them who she is and let them ask questions, yeah. And there was Devizes, Tidworth, and Marlborough, and Pewsey. So that's four events, yeah. And Pewsey had 2. It had one for normal questions and one for environmental questions, yeah. And she just didn't want to turn up. So what does this mean? Is she anti-environment? Or does she know that she's going to get asked awkward questions? Well, they shouted at her at the last one in Pewsey. They shouted at her. They didn't like her very much. So she decided she's just not going to turn up. Great. Yeah? I'm sorry I have to say this. Now, I mean, I know she says that I'm, you know, obsessed with her. I'm not that obsessed. Yeah? I'm just trying to keep on top of what I consider to be a divisive in the way she lies about people, aggressive in the way she approaches people, because she approached me outside the Devizes Hustings, yeah, and went blah 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 about defaced posters. People have been defacing posters of her, blamed it on me, yeah. I said it's nothing to do with me, you know. And she went away, and as she was walking away, she goes, "I'm going to get a restraining order on you." And I'm like, what the fuck is this woman's problem, you know? She's going to get a restraining order on me, and she's come up to me at the end of the Hustings. I haven't come up to her, she's come up to me, you know. I don't think she's all there, to be perfectly honest. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to make criticisms like that, am I? But, I mean, you know, how the hell can she say that I am... I think what it basically boils down to is stalking her. Yeah, that's what she's trying to say, that I am following her around, you know, this sort of crap. Do you know what? I got so pissed off with it, I went to see the police myself. And I actually said, I'm making a statement to you now that I am not stalking Claire Perry. I am not stalking her. She told a public audience that I was, yeah, and I'm not, yeah. I basically have a Facebook page which talks about issues to do with her being an MP and the Conservative Party in general, and, you know, basically, that's it, yeah, that is it. I've written her a couple of letters in the last few years. Is that stalking? She's a fucking MP, for fuck's sake. This is her job. This is what she's meant to do. She's meant to speak to the public, and she is not doing her job, as far as I'm concerned. So thank you very much for watching, and if you're watching Claire, go fuck yourself.